The feeling of emptiness you're experiencing in midlife is not a sign that you have failed. It is the most urgent call your soul will ever send. Carl Jung called this the summons of the self, an invitation to begin the most important journey of your life, not to become someone new, but to finally return to the person you were always meant to be. It is the moment the soul demands you stop building your life outwards and start exploring the vast, uncharted territory within. This feeling, this quiet dread that hums beneath the surface of your busiest days, it has a name. It's called existential dread. It's the unsettling awareness that the script you've been mulling for decades has suddenly run out of pages. You have the successful career, the family, the home. You have checked all the boxes society handed you. So why do you wake up at 3 a.m. with a hollow ache in your chest, haunted by a single, terrifying question? Is this all there is? For years, you built your life like a fortress, brick by brick, achievement by achievement. But now, in the quiet of your own fortress, you feel like a prisoner. The world tells you this is a midlife crisis, a cliché to be mocked or medicated, a problem to be fixed. Buy a new car, take an exotic vacation, start a new hobby. Distract yourself until the feeling goes away. But Jung offered a radically different perspective. He saw this profound unease not as a pathology to be cured, but as a necessary and sacred summons. It is the natural, unavoidable signal that the first half of life is over, and its strategies are no longer sufficient. The personality that brought you this far cannot take you where you need to go next. The soul is demanding a deeper conversation, a more authentic way of being. This feeling of being lost is, in fact, the first sign that you are finally beginning to find your way. So, what is the answer to this deep, existential ache? For Jung, the answer wasn't a simple solution, but a lifelong process. He gave it a name that would become the cornerstone of his entire psychological framework: individuation. The word may sound academic, but its meaning is the most personal thing you will ever experience. Individuation is the journey to becoming a whole, unified, and individual being. It is the process of discovering and integrating all the disparate, hidden, and undeveloped parts of yourself into a cohesive whole. Think of an acorn. Within that tiny seed, the entire blueprint of a mighty oak tree already exists. The acorn doesn't need to learn how to become an oak. It doesn't strive to become a pine or a willow. Its sole purpose is to grow into the most complete and authentic version of itself weathering storms and reaching for the sun until it fulfills its innate potential. We too are like that acorn. We are born with a unique blueprint, an essential nature. Jung called this core of our being the self. The self is the totality of who we are, conscious and unconscious, light and dark. It is our inner God image, the organizing principle of our entire psyche. The first half of our lives, Jung argued, is necessarily focused on the external world. We have to build an ego, our sense of I, that can function in society. We develop a career, build relationships, raise families, and establish our place in the community. This is a crucial and necessary stage, but in doing so, we inevitably overdevelop certain parts of ourselves while neglecting others. We become a successful lawyer, but neglect the artist within. We become a devoted parent, but forget the wild adventurer we once were. We adapt to the world, but we slowly, imperceptibly, drift away from our own true center. The existential dread of midlife is the tension of that drift becoming unbearable. It's the self, the mighty oak tree dormant within, finally calling out, "You have built the scaffolding. It is time to discover the cathedral within." Individuation, then, is the journey of the second half of life. It is a conscious and deliberate turning inward. It is the work of dismantling the scaffolding of the ego that no longer serves us, and beginning the sacred task of connecting with the vast, untapped potential of the self. It's crucial to understand that this is not about selfish individualism. It's the opposite. Jung believed that a person who has not individuated is easily swayed by mass movements and collective hysteria. They are a cog in a machine. But a person who has done the deep, difficult work of becoming whole is truly individual. They stand on their own 2 feet, psychologically and spiritually. And it is only from this place of wholeness that they can make their most authentic and meaningful contribution to the world. They no longer give what society demands of them, but what their own unique soul has to offer. This is the ultimate purpose of our existence. To say we must embark on the journey of individuation is one thing, but how do we actually begin? Where is the map for this inner territory? Jung's answer was revolutionary. The map is already within you. Your unconscious mind is constantly sending you messages, guiding you back to wholeness. The problem is, we have forgotten how to read its language. The unconscious speaks not in the clear, logical prose of our daily minds, but in the rich, symbolic poetry of images, feelings, and archetypes. To find our meaning, we must become students of this inner language. We must learn to use our inner compass, Jung identified several critical tools for this work. The first, and perhaps most important tool, is the dream. Jung considered dreams to be private myths, personal letters mailed directly from the self. To our rational ego, which loves control and certainty, dreams often seem like nonsensical, chaotic noise. But for Jung, they were the single most important source of guidance on the path to individuation. He understood that our conscious mind is inherently one-sided. We think we know who we are, but our perspective is incredibly limited. The dream, Jung said, is a compensatory force. It brings up all the material that the conscious ego has ignored, repressed, or devalued. It seeks to create balance and wholeness. If you are a person who prides yourself on being ruthlessly logical and in control, your dreams might be filled with overwhelming emotion, chaos, or magical events. The dream is telling you there is more to you than your logic. If you live your life as a victim, always feeling powerless, your dreams might show you as a king, a warrior, or a powerful sorceress. The dream is reminding you of a strength you've forgotten you possess. Learning to work with your dreams is like learning to consult an oracle every night. It requires humility and curiosity. It involves writing them down, feeling into their emotional tone, and asking not, "What did that dream mean?" but "What is this dream trying to show me? What part of myself have I been neglecting that is now asking for my attention?" The dream is the North Star of your inner compass, always pointing the way back to your own truth. The second tool, and perhaps the most challenging, is the confrontation with the shadow. In our quest for goodness and social acceptance, we all create a shadow. The shadow is the container for everything within ourselves that we deem unacceptable. It holds our anger, our envy, our greed, our vulnerabilities, our so-called negative traits. We spend the first half of our lives pushing these aspects into the darkness of the unconscious, pretending they don't exist. But the shadow also holds our gold. It contains our undeveloped potentials, our raw creativity, our untamed life force, our righteous anger, our hidden talents. Anything that didn't fit into the neat box of our conscious personality was relegated to the shadow. This is what Jungian analyst Robert A. Johnson called the golden shadow. The existential emptiness of midlife is often a sign that our conscious life has become too sterile, too one-sided. We are starving for the vitality and authenticity that is locked away in our shadow. The journey to meaning, therefore, requires a courageous descent into our own darkness. It means consciously turning around and asking, "What have I rejected in myself?" This is terrifying work. To admit you have a capacity for rage, for selfishness, for profound sadness, is a humbling blow to the ego. But Jung was adamant. There is no wholeness without embracing the shadow. True psychological and spiritual maturity is not about being perfect. It is about being whole. Meaning is not found by eradicating our darkness, but by integrating it. The shadow, when owned and understood, becomes a source of immense power, creativity, and authenticity. It is the rich, dark soil from which the tree of the self can grow to its fullest height. The third tool is learning to recognize synchronicity. Have you ever experienced a coincidence so uncanny, so perfectly timed, that it sent a shiver down your spine? Jung had a name for this: synchronicity. He defined it as a causal connecting principle, or more simply, a meaningful coincidence. Our modern, rational minds tend to dismiss these events as mere chance. But Jung saw them as something more. He believed they were moments when the inner world of the psyche and the outer world of events align in a meaningful way. They are winks from the universe, subtle signposts from the self, confirming that you are on the right path. When you begin the inner work of individuation, when you start listening to your dreams and grappling with your shadow, you become more attuned to these synchronicities. It is as if by turning your attention inward, the outer world begins to conspire in your favor, reflecting your inner state back to you. Recognizing synchronicity requires a shift in perception. It's about moving from a purely logical cause and effect view of the world to one that is open to mystery, meaning, and pattern. These events are the breadcrumbs on the trail of your individuation journey. They are the whispers of your inner compass, assuring you that you are not alone, and that a deeper intelligence is at play, guiding you toward your unique destiny. If individuation is the destination, and the tools of the unconscious are the compass, then what is the primary obstacle we must overcome on this journey? For Jung, one of the greatest challenges of the second half of life is the conscious dismantling of our persona. The word persona is the Latin word for the masks worn by actors in ancient Greek drama. It is the social mask we wear for the world. We have a professional persona, a family persona, a friend persona. It is the carefully curated version of ourselves that we present for public consumption. I am a doctor. I am a good mother. I am a successful executive. The persona is not inherently bad. In the first half of life, a functional persona is absolutely essential for navigating the world and achieving our goals. It protects us and helps us fit in. But the danger, Jung warned, is that we can mistake the mask for our true face. We can become so identified with our roles that we forget the true self that lies beneath. The existential dread of midlife is the sound of the persona cracking. The roles that once defined us and gave us a sense of identity begin to feel hollow and restrictive. The man who spent 30 years being the ruthless CEO suddenly finds himself weeping at a piece of classical music, a part of his soul he repressed for decades. The woman who was only the perfect mother, now that her children have left home, feels a terrifying void, and a long dormant desire to paint or travel or write emerges with volcanic force. This is a moment of profound crisis, but also profound opportunity. The cracking of the persona is the breakthrough of the self. The search for meaning requires the immense courage to let the mask fall away. It means daring to show the world our true face, with all its wrinkles, its scars, and its imperfect beauty. This is why the second half of life can feel so disorienting. You are letting go of the identity that brought you security and success. You are stepping off the well-trodden path and into the wilderness of your own soul, without a map. But it is only in this wilderness that you can discover your true purpose. Jung's ultimate insight into meaning is this: meaning is not a treasure you find hidden under a rock. It is not a secret whispered to you from a mountaintop. Meaning is the byproduct of a life lived in alignment with the self. It is the feeling of deep rightness that comes from having the courage to become the individual you were always meant to be. It is forged in the fires of self-discovery, tempered by the confrontation with the shadow, and polished by the courage to live an authentic life. The feeling of being lost in midlife is not a dead end. It is a crossroads. It is the soul's invitation to stop looking for answers in the outer world and to finally, bravely turn your gaze inward. It is the beginning of the great adventure, the adventure of the self. Carl Jung's wisdom teaches us that this journey is not about finding a single, simple answer to the question, what is the meaning of life? It is about building a life that feels meaningful. It's about the daily, courageous act of listening to your dreams, of integrating your shadow, of recognizing the synchronicities that guide your path, and of letting go of the masks that hide your true light. The compass for this journey is within you. It has been there all along, patiently waiting for you to learn its language. Your meaning will not be found in another achievement or another possession. It will be found in the wholeness you cultivate within your own soul. According to Jung, the ultimate meaning of your life is to become yourself, completely and unapologetically. for in doing so, you deliver a gift to the world that no one else can. Your journey has just begun. If you have ever felt this call from your own soul, share with us in the comments. What is a symbol from a dream or from your waking life that keeps reappearing for you? Let's begin to decode the soul's compass together. And don't forget to subscribe to continue exploring the profound wisdom of psychology designed to guide you on your life's journey. Thank you for watching.